Welcome to Terry Tuesday. The echo is still going through the roof, Terry.
All
But
right, well, I'll shut it down then.
we want to send a special shout out today to Parx for the late scratches, completely screwing up some bets right before we go live. So thank you for that. We appreciate that. We also appreciate last night. I hope you caught Sophia Vives with Jamie and Sean. Terry, did you get a look at that? You're on mute still, my man. You're still on mute.
Yes, I know. Yeah,
Okay.
I liked it quite a bit. It was a good show, as
Yes,
always.
wonderful young lady looking like she has an extremely bright future. And that's the theme for this week, it looks like, because not only that, but tonight we have on at 8 p.m. Eastern, Hannah Leahy. She comes back. It's the second time on the show. Last time she was on, she was a tremendous guest. Lots of fun, full of energy. Again, that'll be at 8 p.m. tonight with Sean and Jamie. The best way to make sure you don't miss anything we do around here, including all the late scratches at Parx, is to go ahead and hit that subscribe button while you're here on YouTube. Follow us on the social sites below. Terry, in light of all of the, how are you doing today, Hamdi? Hope you're having a nice day. I suppose you're probably coming in from Turkey. Hopefully everything's nice over there. All right, Terry, you ready to get started with the races today?
Yeah, let's get going here.
Let's get rocking. Let's get rolling. All right, so race number 1 at Parx. This one is so I had to mute you there, Terry, because I could just hear you echoing in my ears, and I got some OCD at times. But anyway, this one is 6.5 furlongs. The type of horse that typically wins at 6.5 furlongs is a stalker. There's a little bit of a rail bias. 2 and out are fair. Yesterday we saw Speed chew this track up Terry. The 8 horses scratched, but it looks like maybe the inside 2 got a shot there.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the 1, 2, and 11 are the speed of the race, and the 2, it looks like a pretty nice overlay. The 3, also overlay. But I'll tell you, yesterday the speed was king, and if it holds today, then you should be watching for speed. Also, the posts 1 through 3 won 7 out of 11 races yesterday, which was pretty fantastic. So,
oh yeah. Indeed, for sure. Those are some pretty good numbers. So Jay says hello to me and then you, Terry. You didn't want to leave either one of us out, so we appreciate the kindness, Jay. Hope you have a fantastic day. Our way to the winner's circle pace sheet. I'm going to change this a little bit going forward, but just in case you're new around here, this E stands for horses that want to be on the lead. So they're the type that go wire to wire. I was just thinking about this last night. So I'm going to change the lettering around to reflect a little bit what races look like. EP types are horses that can go wire to wire or sit right off the leader. So they can ride shotgun or drive the car. P horses typically ride shotgun. They're within the length and a half of the leader at the quarter-mile marker. PCs can ride shotgun or close. C's are your closers, as we mentioned. The 8 horses out of this particular race. You mentioned speed yesterday was the way, Terry. If speed is the way today, again, you're looking at this 2 horse. This 1 horse, which I think probably will be a little bit quicker because it's dropping in class, as is the 11 in this maiden race, Terry. All right, well, we've gone through the way the race might shape up. How do you think it might finish up?
all right. Well, I like the 4, actually. Homeschool finished 3rd versus Tougher in his last race. Can either lead or close to win a race and has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Then number 6, Cumulus, ran 2nd versus Similar in his last race, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Then I like the number 11, which is one of the speed horses. Ryan's Fleet drops in class today, switches to a high percentage winning jockey. And then my long shot is a 3, DeSantis, drops in class today, has a trainer and jockey combination. The last 14 days has won 2 out of 4 starts. And as my bet in this race, I'm going to do a trifecta with the 4-6, 4-6, 11, 4-3, 6-11.
Yeah, just kind of a little reminder of what we do. Terry and I both we do what we call the $100 challenge. We both have $100 to put out on wagers, and this is how we would bet them at the track today. For me, in race number 1 at Parx, I like Homeschool as well. Did run the top last race. Speed figure is dropping in class. I'm I'm a big fan of that combination. Has a 6-point late pace advantage over everybody else, but it does have some back speed. I moved the 11 into second place in here, Terry. Orion's Fleet, because it did show some strong early pace last time out. It is one of the horses that's likely to be amongst the leaders and gets an upgrade today to jockey Paco Lopez. Number 1, Destiny's Mission, another one of those horses that's very likely to be up on the front, dropping from that maiden special weight to maiden claiming, the biggest drop in all of horse racing. So it should accentuate Destin's Mission's speed. And then finally, the Cloud Cumulus was the 50-cent favorite in his last race. But this horse likes to come from off the pace. And again, after what we saw yesterday with speed, you got to put speed in front of closers. Of course, that means the track bias is going to flip today, Terry. I like the 50-cent trifecta as well. I put some of those speed horses on top. The 1, the 4, 11 with the 4, 11. With the 1, the 3, the 4, the 6, and the 11. This is my go-to bet because I really don't have a key horse in race number 1 to get started. Race 2 is next up on the card. This guy is 6.5 furlongs and just straight up claiming $7,500. Non-winners of 3. The purse is $22,000. And much like in the first race at 6.5 furlongs, you want a stalker. The rail typically does well, and as Terry mentioned yesterday, 1, 2, and 3 kick some butt. So what are we both going to do? We're going to go with the 12 horse here, Terry. But what do you see in the simulations that stands out?
Well, let me tell you, I see that the 5, 8, 11, and 13 actually have.
Well, the 5 and the 2 red ones are scratched.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. And, I'm going to start going in there and lining those out. But anyway, the 5, it was my top pick, and it's, of course, been scratched. It changed everything around for me. So let's just say the 11 and the 13, they're the speed. And the 13 looks like a pretty nice overlay or underlay, whatever you want to say. Overlay. Yeah, overlay. So anyway, that's how I see it.
All right, and let's see how the pace setup in here works out. Race number 2, the 5 horse. That was your key horse, Terry, too, right? This guy is scratched out. He was going to be part of the early speed, so I think this 6 horse that gets the box now could be the prime beneficiary because it now takes over as the top early pace horse. On the way home, the 3 horse, the 9 horse, the 10 horse all have some late speed. The 7 had some late speed too, but he's decided to take the day off as well. This is a pretty balanced race. So in these deep fields, which we got a whole lot of deep fields today, I prefer the horses to be more forwardly placed. Terry, how about you? You're on mute still.
Yeah, I'm trying to unmute myself. There we go. Yeah, I like in this race here, since that 5 horse was scratched, which was my bet of the day. I like the 12. She has won 2 out of 6 career races, and she drops in class today. Has a high percentage winning trainer. And then I like 6 as she has got an early foot, so the shorter distance will certainly help her. Number 9. Miss Alex is a closer, ran second in the race before last. And number 2 is my long shot. She's always in the mix, had trouble in her last race. So I'm going to go that one, throw that one out.
Yeah, surprisingly in these deep fields, we got some on the top of the tickets. It worked out well for us yesterday because we both had the top winner in the first 2 races. But 12, Musahama, showed early pace in that last race out. Faded at the end, but cuts back in distance today. So trainer Michael Pino, he wins at 21% when he takes a horse from a route to a sprint. So that angle is a strong one for him. Alpha angle, anything over 15%. And number 8, she wears the pants. It is not that way at Terry's household. And here comes the pan. Anyway, this one should also be involved from the jump. Went wire to wire in its last race, but also did that with much improved late pace numbers. Number 10, Gris Tormenta, so something about a storm. This guy's coming in from New York, so he's a Naira track dropper that has speed figures that could win here. And then finally, number 6, a Valuable Bray. This is another one that should be on the speed today. And again, I'm going to really heavily emphasize speed after what we saw yesterday. I'm going to do a 50-cent trifecta, 8, 10, 12 with the 8, 12 with the 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. So all the even numbers for me, Terry. Did you walk through your pick 4? Did I just not hear it?
Yeah. No, I didn't walk through that. I'm sorry. That's a pick 4. And of course, I originally had the 5 as my key horse, but now I'm going to use the 12. Didn't have much time to change much. So I'm going to use the 12 in the second race with the 5, 6, 7, with the 1, 7, 9, 12, and then the 4, 7 in the fifth race.
Yeah, I was going to do some pick 4s today, Terry. I just felt like with these really deep fields, and there's going to be some bombs that come in for sure. I just didn't know when, and I didn't want to get upset with a bomb. Or another thing, I didn't want to type in the wrong numbers today.
Well, I did the pick 4s, but I did really, small ones like $10, $14.
So I'm guessing, the Hamdi, that in Turkey, bankers mean your best bets, Terry. So I know the 5 was one of your best bets today. I'll be honest with you, Hamdi. These races, there are so many horses in every race. It's kind of hard to pick one horse in 12 horse fields, 10 horse fields, Terry. I don't know if you agree with me on that, but I felt like in this card today it was very difficult. I found a few horses to key, and we'll talk about some of those that I'll bet around, but I don't necessarily think I can pick one out that I think, yes, this one's going to win. How about you?
Well, the only other one that I liked was in the 10th race, and it's called Girl Trouble, number 10. So I changed to having that as my pick of the day. So,
all right. So race 10 to 10 for Terry. I have one of those key horses in here. It's not my top pick in race number 3, but it's one that I think can perform at a price. Then I'm going to try to put some stuff around it to see if indeed I can hit a nice winning ticket. In race number 3, the 1 is scratched. That's why he's up here in red. This is a mile and a 16th in allowance, $10,000. Nice purse, $65,000, Terry. And of course, with that 1 being scratched, it looks like the 2 and the 3 move down to the inside speed.
Yeah, that's right. 2, 3, and 9 are actual speed. And if they run true to form as they did yesterday, the 2, 3 has an advantage over the 9. And as far as the overlay goes, I think the 10's a nice overlay. So
10-1 morning line.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 2-1, but but
our simulation said the odds should be closer to 2-1. Yeah. So in this race, we see that the 1 is scratched at the mile and a 16th. And at a mile and a 16th, what you're looking for typically at Parx is a horse that has tactical speed, post positions 1 through 7, play fair. The 8 and the out do get a little bit of an advantage post position wise. Number 2 and number 7 have the most early speed when the gates open, but they'll be joined by this guy back here that's normally a closer, a left arrow horse. So normally that one wants to come from off the pace, but its normal gait when the gates open is fast enough to put it in contention right away. It's a closer with some late pace, Terry. I think that left arrow horse can factor. I don't know if you have him in your picks, though.
Let me see here.
Nope.
Well, nope. Nope, I guess I don't.
I
like the number.
Good for me or bad for me, bud?
Yeah, it's probably okay. Excuse me. I like the number 5 in this race as my top pick. It finished in the money in his last 9 races, and he won 4 of those starts. Has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey combination. In the last 14 days has been in the money 8 out of 12 starts with 3 wins. And I like these horses that are very consistent like that. Seems to me that they're very competitive. Then I like number 6, No Salt. He won 2 races in a row. And then in his last race, he had a lot of trouble and finished 5th. The trainer wins, though, 19% of the time when bringing back a beaten favorite because he was a favorite in that race. And he switches to a high percentage winning jockey. I like the number 7 as my neck pick. He has finished 2nd in his last 2 races. He's trained by Jamie Ness and ridden by Frankie Pennington, which is a really good combination. Then my long shot would be the 9, Rondon Sorcies. He likes Ceresis. I don't know how to pronounce it. Scorisi, yeah.
Scorsi.
He likes park racing, finishing the money in 5 races out of the last 6, and he won 2 of those starts. I'm going to make a $1 exacta bet in here. I'm going to box the 5, 6, 7, and 9.
In race number 3, going to start off with the 5 horse Seish as well. Jamie Ness, Ruben Silvera, can't overlook that combination ever at Parx. This horse is coming in from Laurel. At Parx, it has 2 wins, 2 races and 1 win, 1 second. But at the distance, 6 times with 2 wins, 3 seconds, and a third. So my math says that's 100% at the distance. Number 6, No Salt. This one's coming in from New York, a 9-year track dropper. Has run, however, at Parx 1 time. Collected the winner's check in that race. Has the top late pace score and won't be all that far off the lead. Number 8 is Gigging. That is my left arrow horse in here, Terry. And I think this one has likely to improve in the second start after a layoff. And then number 2, Monkey in the Banksy. What that means, I have no idea. But it is the lone early EP horse, so it'll sit behind the speed, cuts back in distance, and doesn't give up the lead if he takes it into the stretch. So that's one that you see up here that has a pretty good opportunity to be on the lead. And if he does, I think the last 3 times that he took his lead all the way into the stretch, he took the field wire to wire. But the key horse for me here, Hamdi, is the 6 horse. I'm going to put it in an exact the key box, that New York dropper that's 1-for-1 at Parx. It seems like it should be a nice price, 6-1. Maybe those lines will go up. I'm going to do exact the key box, Terry, with the 6, with the 2, the 5, the 7, the 8, and the 9 for race number 3. I think we're just a couple of seconds away maybe from race number 1 taking off at Parx there. Let's take a look at that real quick. Parx Racing indeed. We're going to have some Spanish-speaking content coming up too, so that'll be coming soon, folks. Keep an eye out for that. So we're still, 2 minutes away from race number 1, Terry? Is that right? Let's look here real quick. Yeah, we got 1 minute.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So we have time to go through race number 4. So let's go ahead and do race 4 real quick, and then we'll go ahead and we'll tell everybody what we see happening in race number 1. So race 4 is 6.5 furlongs, just like the first 2, at 6.5 furlongs. Again, the profile of the winner favors horses that stock, a little bit of a rail bias, 2+ play fair. There aren't any scratches in this race, Terry, which is a maiden special weight race. Sure as hell looks like one horse in here is going to have the time of its life on the front.
Yeah, that's right. That 4 looks like it's really got more speed than anything in there, and it's going to probably go right out to the front. The only problem is the last time it did that, it faded really pretty badly in the end. If it gets out there and it doesn't get a lot of pressure, and maybe because it's a little more experience than the last race, it could hold on. So I think that the number 4 is a nice overlay, and the number 9 also is an overlay as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's about all I have to say about that race.
Yeah. So the 9 horse looks like 3-1 morning line should be closer to 1-2. We'll talk about why that might be the case in a second. I think its odds are definitely going to head down too. The way to the winner's circle for race number 4, you see here that the 11 horse looks like it should be out on the front, but it didn't really get the early pace designation. That went to the 4 horse, as you talked about, Terry. It has a giant 12-point lead over everybody else through the first half mile. It doesn't have to run too fast. The only thing that you don't know is what this quartet of first-time starters is going to bring to the table. The 9 horse does have a really strong late pace advantage, doesn't really have a whole lot to chase down. So if you see this one move forward today out of the gates, I would expect that it could be extremely difficult to beat. Let's see how they're looking for race number 1 real quick here, Terry. I don't know what it is with my Twin Spires thing, but I have to go to race number 2 to put on the video so I can watch race number 1. And they're out. And the track looks kind of wet to me. I know they listed it as good, but that does not look good. It's sloppy now. Maybe that's why we got a little bit of scratches. So it looks like the 1 in race number 1 right now, Terry, is on the lead. Let's see, race number 1. Boom. There we go. The 1. He's followed to the outside by the 11. So if that early speed holds, because we had the 1 and the 11 on the early speed, that's exactly what we saw yesterday take place. Let's see if there's a change. They went out really fast, though, 21-4. So I don't know if maybe they watched the TV yesterday and they decided, let's burn them up and see what happens. But now they're coming down the stretch, and it does look like maybe they went a little too fast because everybody's closing in pretty aggressively on them now. The 1 horse is getting a little bit tired, but the 11 horse does maintain its lead, Terry. It might be tough to pass. It looks like There's a bomb in there with the 2-horse, but who else is coming? Nobody else? Yeah, it's going to be, the 11-horse ended up going wire to wire again today, Terry. So it looks like it's going to go 11. I have no idea what that is, to be honest with you. They were showing the 2 on the screen, but it did not look white to me. It looked like a different color to me. I don't think it was the 4-horse, though, which was my second pick. But the 11-horse absolutely won. I don't see the 4-horse in the mix there, Terry. So it went 11, 3, and then I don't know who's next.
Well, 11-3. That's pretty good. I think I had that, don't I?
No, no, I 4-6 with the 4-6.
No, I should have. What I should have did was box the trifecta, because 11 was my third pick. The 3 is my long shot.
So. I don't know who came in third though, Terry. It's tough to tell.
Yeah,
I don't. It might be the 6, but I'm not 100% sure.
Well, we could have done an exactum, boxed it.
Mm. So that wraps up race number 1. The good news is speed held today, so we both. I know I handicapped towards speed, so hopefully that does take us through the entirety of the day. It certainly looks like it's really sloppy there today. So you got sloppy, you got a new track, you got speed, you got deep fields. Brother, anything could happen. All right, so we went through the early pace, the race designation. Take us through your picks for race number 4.
All right, well, in 4, I like that 9-horse Beeson. I think it's going to be a hard favorite. He ran second in his last race. His best start speed is fastest among today's starters. Then I like number 7, Norlander. He is a first-time starter whose dam has 6 winners from 8 starters, and he has a high percentage winning jockey and trainer. Number 12, No Confession. He ran second versus similar in his last race after being off since September. And then, and that's pretty nice. You come back after a couple of months and get be competitive. Number 1 is my long shot. It's a Pity, and I don't have any bets in this race.
So in race number 4, Beeson is my top choice. It had the top last race speed figure by so much more than every other horse in this race with experience anyway. Needs to regress a lot, or some of the other experienced horses have to jump up a lot, or one of these first-time starters is going to have to be something special. Number 12, No Confession, tactical early speed with the better late legs in that first race after a little bit of time off. Resume says sharp improvement is on the table in the second start off the sidelines. Number 4, Dreaming of Smarty. We just saw a horse go pretty much wire to wire in race number 1. We saw a whole bunch of horses yesterday go wire to wire, and with that incredible early speed advantage for that 4-horse today, I got to put him in my picks. Number 5, Lightning Ridge is one of the first-time starters. I'm going to put it in there because it has a bullet workout in its last workout. That's called a Bullet and Go. And if you get the book Skeptical Handicapper from Barry Meadows, we've talked about this before, but one of the best angles for horses making their first-time start is if their last workout before going to the track is a bullet. Indeed, that is the case for Lightning Ridge. It's a good price, too. I like the 50-cent trifecta again, 4, 9, and 12 with the 9, 12 with the 4, 5, 7, 9, and 12. That's how I'm going to play race number 4. So now we move on, Terry, to race number 5 at Parx and race 5 at Parx. A lot of scratches here. That's what all that red is about, Terry. So the field definitely going to change shape in here. This one is 1 mile and 70 yards, claiming 5,000, non-winners of 1. The purse is $18,000. And at a mile and a furlong, mile and 70 yards, the profile of a winner favors horses with early speed, even more so than sprints. The inside 3 and 8 and out have a little bit of an edge. 4 through 7 play a touch under par, Terry. And once again, it looks like you got a couple of horses in here that are going to get out to the front that everybody's going to have to chase down.
That's right. That 1 and 7 show a lot of early speed. Everybody else, like you said, is going to have to come from off the pace or from behind. And the 1 is a nice overlay if you look at it. It's similar, most similar odds is 6 or 7 to 1. And maybe if it stays at 12-1, that's pretty nice. I see it your second pick. Mm-hmm. So we both got the 7. I think that's because of the speed.
Yeah, the speed's got, speed has been the way. We saw it again in the first race. In race number 5, we got a ton of scratches. All of the early speed got knocked out of here too. So any of the fake speed that could have challenged the early speed is going to make the race even easier. Well, maybe not easier, but certainly make getting the lead for the 1 and the 7. That's why they're boxed off. And what's interesting about the 1 and the 7, not only do they have the most early speed, but they also have the first and second when you combine early speed with late speed. This 5 horse, though, is a danger because he's a pressure closer type, has a 6-point late pace advantage. So you're probably going to sit right behind that 1 and 7, be patient, and see if it has a chance to run by him at the end, Terry. So I think those are your 3 primary contenders, the 1, the 7, and the 5. What do you say?
All right. Well, I like the 7 as we started out with, still having fun. Took a 3-month break, returns, and finished a disappointed 10th. But it takes a big drop in class and is trained by Jamie Ness and ridden by Ruben Silveira. Then number 4, Wagon Boss, likes the track, finishing the money. 11 out of 15 starts, won 3 of those starts. This distance is really in his wheelhouse. Number 9, Son of a Saint, is a closer, and he closes from close to the pace. And he has a trainer who wins 17% of the claiming races when he enters a horse in a claiming affair. Then my long shot is number 6, Seat of Honor. Ran a nice second his last race. He has the highest speed figure at today's distance. And then I'm going to make a bet on a trifecta. I'm going to bet the 4-7 with the 4-6-7 with the 4-6-7-9-11.
All right, so here's 1,180 million % proof that Charles is in my computer. He's got a trifecta box here: 7, 1, 9, and 4. I have the 7, the 1, the 4, and the 9. So he just switched the 9 and the 4 around to make it look good. Thank you, Diane, for wishing us good luck. We appreciate that. Hey, Marcos, good morning. Buenos dias. Hector, same to you as well. Buenos dias to you as well. Amani, same as well. Hope you all have a fantastic day wherever you are. I know we get a lot of folks checking in from Colombia, right, and Venezuela, so we appreciate that. Thank you, Oshun. We appreciate you coming in, too. Yes, we're doing Parx. Where can you watch it live? I think you have to probably go to Parx's website. I think they do have a live stream. You can also check out HRT, Horse Racing TV. You have to pay a subscription for that. Or I would open an account with one of the offshore betting, and because you don't have to put money in it. So you can do that out of the U.S., like Bet US, or what's some of the other ones, Terry? I can't remember them. Anyway, just look for offshore banking, offshore horse racing accounts. They show the races, and you don't have to make a deposit. All right, so for me in the race number 5, I like the 7 horse, Still Having Fun. That sounds like a good idea, Terry. Ruben Silveira, Jamie Ness, again, that powerful combination at Parx. Always got to pay attention to them, especially when they're dropping multiple classes like they are today. This horse should be close to the pace, if not on the lead. That's some of the best early and late speed combined. Number 1, Decology. It doesn't look like it on paper, but this guy could be the pace setter and has absolutely a terrific post position with that 1, which hits at over 20% from the rail. Number 4, Wagon Boss, was better through the first half mile of its last race and puts a consistent effort in race after race after race after race. And then finally, number 9, Son of a Saint. Past performances here say he's probably at the top of his game in the third start off of the break. I think the 5 horse is scratched in here, Terry, if I remember correctly, in race number 5, right? And I'm going to do a $1 double with the 7. So in this race, the 7, that's a key horse for me, Hamdi. One of the few that I'm putting on top of a ticket today. It's got a good shot to be on the lead. The odds look like they're fair. So I'm going to put it together in a double: 7 over the 1, the 3, the 5, the 6, the 7, and the 9 in the next race. So I guess in Turkey, they would call that a banker, Terry. Hopefully that's a banker lead.
Yeah, I would think they do, yeah.
All right, in race number 6, as we go one step forward on the Parx card, we're going to run 5.5 furlongs, a short one, so keep your eyes open. Claiming $7,500, non-winners of 4, as you can imagine, in a short sprint like that. Speed is the way, for sure. 45%, in fact, go wire to wire. 1 through 7 play fair. 8 and out is a bump. And that 8 horse might have a pretty good post position, Terry, considering how much early speed it has.
Yeah, you're right. The 8, the 5, and the 7 all have early speed. And of course, yesterday when I was talking about the, 1, 2, 3 win and 7 out of 11, the other ones were the other 4 were 6 and out, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So that 8 might do pretty well in here. The 5's a nice overlay if you like to try to go for an overlay. It usually almost 3 to 1, and it's listed as 8 to 1. So.
Yeah, so it looks like the simulation suggests the 8 could provide some value in there. Our race number 6, way to the winner's circle. We don't have any scratches. I think with the rain coming, you never know how this stuff might change throughout the day. But you got plenty of speed in here in this race. 8, the 7, and the 9. You can see a lot of this race is forwardly placed between pressure horses and early speed types. The 5 horse, though, which could be up near the front, does have the most late pace. The 10 has some late pace. This is going to be an interesting race to me, Terry, though I would suspect, considering that speed bias, that something forwardly placed is going to win. Who do you think is going to win?
All right. Well, in this race, I like the number 3, Rudy Rod. He won his last race at Parx Racing at today's distance. He only needs to repeat that performance to win again. Then number 1, Peterson's Courage. He ran 8th in the slop in his last race. So he didn't take to it, didn't seem to like it.
And unfortunately, that's the condition right now.
Yeah, if it's sloppy today, it might bother him. Although he did have one off-track good performance. He switches to high percentage winning trainer and jockey, and the shorter distance can help. Number 5, Positively Awesome, comes in from Gulfstream to try Parx Racing for the first time and switches to a high percentage winning trainer who wins 50% of the races when taking a horse from a sprint to a route to a sprint. And then my long shot would be the 6 horse ET's Candy Man. Early speed running style helps the chances, and this shorter distance should also help him. So I don't have a bet here.
So for me in race number 6, I'm going to start off with Rudy Rod. My son's name is Rudy, so there you go. Got to put him on top, right? Top last race speed figure, could be the best in the classic third start off the layoff. That is our good friend Charles's favorite handicapping angle. Number 5, Positively Awesome. In football, they have the name on the back of jerseys. That was the name on the back of Terry's jersey. So when he pointed like that to the back, that's what it said. Is a track dropper from Gulfstream Park. Has the best shot, I think, in this field to go wire to wire. Number 1, Peterson's Courage. First off the claim for trainer, Luis Linder Jr. This is a horse that has plenty of back speed as well. And then finally, number 9, Champion by Design. Really steady performer, usually well backed. And that was the name on Terry's alternative jersey. Again, I have a key horse in here, the 5 horse. For me, the Gulfstream Shipper. I'm going to put that in an exacta key box with the 1, the 3, the 6, the 7, and the 9. I feel like if that South Florida form can translate up here in Pennsylvania, that 5 horse has a good shot to go wire to wire. And hopefully we get a good price at that, because 8 to 1 morning line, according to the program. But on 1,000 simulations, look like those odds should be closer to 3 to 1. Do me a favor, Charles. Remind me in race number 9 about race number 9. We're a few away from that. And, my old man been hit in the head too many times, and this certainly is make it challenging for me to remember. In race number 7, we do see that the 2 horse, Awesome Pal, is scratched. Race 7 is 6 furlongs. It's an allowance for $10,000. The purse is $65,000. That's a pretty good purse. At 6 furlongs, you want to have some tactical speed. The rail usually underperforms, Terry. And again, looks like 1 horse has a chance to get to the front. Look, our picks are exactly the same.
Yeah, that's right. But what's happening here is that 3 horse shows lots of early speed. And, if he can lead, gets out there, and if she can lead and get to the front and not be pressured, she might not get caught. And she's really got a good morning line of 15 to 1. The 1 and the 8 also have some speed. The 7's a nice overlay in here. It's the Dilly Philly.
Dilly Philly. I guess that's a Bud Light thing, right? Wasn't that Dilly 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 or some ridiculous commercial that they had? All right, again, looking at the race shape here, you got a lot of horses in this field that want to be up front. Heck, you got what, 6 of the 11? That's a pretty good number, and the 5 could add to that pace as well as the 1. The 1 gets to square, so you could see a lot of early speed take shape here. In that case, you kind of want the speed of the speed. 2 horse not running today. If they go too fast, the 7, which should be sitting right off of the pace, does have a late pace advantage of 6 points. Put together early speed and late speed, and it's the number 1 ranked horse for that pace combination, Terry. I think it's also your number 1 ranked horse.
It is. Number 7 is my number 1 horse. Dilly Dilly Philly. You know, she's won 5 out of her last 10 races, trained by Jamie Ness and ridden by Ruben Silveira, which, as I said before, is a really great combination. So she marks a lot of boxes off. Very competitive filly. And then number 10, Flashing Diamond. She's finished in the money in her last 4 races, winning the last race, and has the highest last speed race figure at today's distance. And then number 1, Peak of Cheek. Or Chick. She's won 2 races out of her last 4 races, has a high percentage winning trainer. I like as my long shot, number 8. She comes in from Penn National to try Parx for the first time. Loves to go to the front and wins races, as she's done that twice at Delaware Park. And then I like the trifecta as my bet. I'm going to play the 7-10 with the 1-7-10 with the 1-7-8-10.
In race number 7 for me, yeah, 7s are wild, Terry. I like the 7 in here too. Dilly Dilly Philly. It's a Ruben Silveira, Jamie Ness combination. And last time out, ran some of the fastest fractions that this the 8-year-old has run in quite a while. So hopefully that's a sign. It's going to giddy up and go again today. Number 10, Flashing Diamond, was better early in the beginning of its last race and did show some strong mid move, which is important in these sprints, that middle move. I think Peak of Chic they're going for there, Terry. The rhyme consistently puts up numbers that can win here. And as you mentioned, trainer Michael Moore, not the filmmaker, but the trainer, does pretty good going sprint route. Sprint, 21%, 25%, one out of 4. And then number 8, R. Avery Lynn. You got Kendrick Kermouche coming in to ride this one of 2 mounts today. So you got to imagine he thinks this horse has a chance. Otherwise, he probably would have stayed home. He did not get out there in the rain. Again, this is another one of my key horses, Handy, the 7 horse in here. If you look, 4-1 morning line. It has, looks like the odds according to 1,000 simulations should be closer to 6-5. So I'm going to do a $1 exact key box. Hopefully, the odds stay close to 4-1. I'm going to put the 7 in with the 1, the 8, the 9, the 10, and the 11. Hope that 7 runs second, and the longest shot that I have in my picks runs first to give me a nice exacta right there. I would appreciate if you specify the best bet of the day. Well, Terry's best bet's coming up. I think personally, with these deep fields, it's really difficult to pick just one horse. I do like the 7 in this spot. This would be one that I would circle on my bets today as a very strong candidate to win. I know Charles has some pretty strong thoughts on a double coming up, so I'd imagine those are 2 horses that he likes. We're going to find out who we like now in race number 8. Yeah, Charles. So if you have a best bet, Charles, your $50 horse out there, please let us know who that one is. In race 8, we're going to run. The horses are going to run anyway. 1 mile and 70 yards again. Another allowance, $10,000 race. The purse is $65,000. Mile and 70 yards. The winner really has a lot of early speed usually inside 3 or 8 and out. 4 through 7 play a little bit touchy. Of course, I put the 4 and the 5 right in my picks right there for sure. Terry, it looks like this race has another horse that's most likely to get to the lead.
Yeah, that's right. To me, the early speed is the 9, the 7, and the 13. And, I think the 5 is a nice overlay, and the 7 would be a nice overlay, but 5 definitely it's supposed to be usually just under 2-1, and here it's going to be listed at 4-1. I don't really think it's going to stay at 4-1. And if I was going to, my best bet, as we talked about, is the 10th race, the 10. But I like this 5 in this race quite a bit.
You like the 5 a lot, and here, obstinate. See what we see in the race card here. A lot of the horses that wanted to come from off the back, the 6, the 11, the 12, they're all knocked out of this race. So they're not going to be involved. That puts a lot of the speed as the horses to contend with here. Of the speed horses, the 4 horse and the 9 have the most early speed. This 5 horse, as you mentioned, Terry, I think is going to get a fantastic trip. It's an EP horse. There's plenty of speed in here. This horse can be patient if they go too fast. He can be aggressive if they go too slow. Has the most late pace as well. So I think this horse has the best running combination of ability. So maybe Obstinate will do what we both think it will do and win.
Yeah, I really think that's a possibility. She won 2 out of her last 3 races. She finished second in her last race, has the highest speed figure at today's distance. Her best dirt speed is fastest man among today's starters. Then number 3, Start with a Bang, comes in from Laurel after winning the last race there to try Parx for the first time. She has a trainer wins 19% of the races when running a horse in routes. And then number 4, Fine 1-1. She won her last race at Parx Racing at today's distance and has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Long shot number 8, Positive Power, won her last race at Parx Racing at today's distance. I'm going to play a pick 4 here. I'm going to use the 3, 4, 5 in the 8th race with the 5, 8, and the 9th, and then I'm going to single the 10 in the 10th race. Then
I got some bad news for you, Terry.
Oh, what happened?
Start with a Bang did scratch out of this race.
Oh, it did.
Yes. Thank you for the heads up on that, because we look for all the scratches. Thanks for the heads up on that, Nissamet, and we appreciate that. You like Obstinate here. So while you go ahead and change your bets around, Terry.
Yeah.
And then I'll go ahead and talk about what I like so you can get your bets in order. I had the 3 in my picks too. I'll change that in my trifecta in just a moment. So I like in this race Obstinate too. I agree with everybody on the board here that Obstinate looks like the horse to beat. The last race was better than it looks on paper. Did run similar fractions to the previous race when it won by 7 1/4 lengths. So we can just run that same race and not run into a horse that's going to put out a great race. Obstinate has a really good chance here. I also like Fine 1-1, kind of like 9-1-1, I guess. Won its last race by 9 lengths and does have the strongest early pace late combination in the field. Cajun Cousin, one of those that's likely to be a part of the early lead. But it's all or nothing at Parx. 6 times out with 3 wins, nothing else. And when she wins big. So if she gets out to the lead, they might not run that one down. And then finally, number 7, Ambitiously Placed. The break for this horse is everything. If Ambitiously Placed gets out of the gates sharply, she'll be in the hunt from start to finish. It's something she's been at Parx from start to finish many times out. 8 times out, 4 wins, 2 seconds, and a third. And at the distance, 4 times with 3 seconds in there. I'm going to do a 50-cent trifecta. Again, 4, 5, 13 with the 4, 5, 13. I'm going to add the 9 here instead of the 3 since the 3 is scratched. Again, thank you for those eyes. We appreciate that. So 4, 5, 7, 9, and 13 for my trifecta. All right, Terry, now you're going to take us through your pick 4.
Yeah, I changed from that what I had originally. Now I'm going to do on my pick 4 the 4, 5, 8 with the 5, 8, and then single the 10 in the 10th. And then use the 2, 6, 7, 8, 11, and 12 in the last race.
Yeah, I wanted to do a pick 4, but honestly, again, I really feel like this race's card is filled with a lot of horses. A lot can go right, a lot can go wrong in a race, and I expect there's going to be some upsets, some bombs in here. So I think it's going to be a very difficult day to go from race to race to race and pull off winners. I'm rooting for you, Terry, because I do think if you hit a pick 4, it's going to be a nice one. So now we're going to go on to race number 9, one race away from everybody's best bet of the day. Not mine. I actually moved away from that 10 horse. But in race number 9, it's a 7 furlongs. It is the Parx Juvenile Stakes, $75,000 for 3-year-olds. 7 furlong races do tend to favor horses with tactical speed. Again, we've seen inside 3 bias, 4 through 7 underperform a little bit. 8 and out are the horses that tend to do well as well. And again, Terry, Winning Time looks like it's going to be the one everybody's going to have to pass.
Absolutely. That horse is really, really got a lot of speed as it appears here. And looks like it might be a little bit of an overlay, but I think it's going to be a lot less than 3.5 to 1 odds. I think it's going to be lower than that. I think it's actually going to end up being the what you call it. If the five gets out and goes to the front, it should lead all the way to the wire.
He's going to go all the way. All right, real quick before we head off to race number 2, let's look at race number 9. Indeed, the 5-horse does have a lot of early speed. This whole race is nothing but speed because you do not have any horses that have shown any interest in closing or, for that matter, being a pressure or closer. The early speed belongs to the 1 and the 5. They're the ones that are going to get up out of the gate and go. But the 8-horse in here, if they go too fast, it's got a little bit something up his sleeve, and that something is a 5-point late pace advantage over everybody else. So all this early speed in here, having those late legs might be a tactical advantage for the 8-horse, Terry. You want to go ahead and take us through your picks real fast because they're not quite done loading yet.
All right. Well, I like the number 5 Winning Time, has won both of his career races, has a high percentage winning jockey. Number 8 Recruiter has won all 3 of the career races, has 3 bullet workouts in a row. Number 1's my third pick, 90% Maddie, has won 3 races out of the last 4, and the Rail Post is winning at an 18% clip. And then my long shots, number 3 Hot Love, can either lead or close to win a race. No bets.
Winning Time and the 8-5 Recruiter, I can think those two are interchangeable. They're 1 and 1A. They're an entry. The 5-horse is the likely pace setter, unbeaten in 2 at Parx, although Recruiter has been absolutely dominant at Laurel Park. Top last race speed figure and by a decent margin over the rest of these horses. And bullets galore getting ready and does have that light. It's, I think, 3 straight bullet workouts. That 8-horse is going to be tough. So 5 and 8, those two I think are the ones to beat. Number 1, 90% Maddie drops in class from a non-graded stakes race for $240,000. So this is surprisingly a drop. And the internals last time out were better across the board, maybe better in the third start off of the sidelines. And then finally, number 1, the Daydreaming Boy. That was me in school from first grade all the way through 12th grade. Beaten favorite at this level last time out. It's interesting to me, though, that jockey Michael Sanchez gets off of this horse to ride the 8-horse. So it tells you what he thinks about that as well. I'm going to do a 50-cent trifecta, 5-8 with the 1-5-8 with the 1-4-5-7 and 8 in race number 9, Terry. I think race number 2, they're about to get running if they haven't started already. Yes, indeed, they're out. There is quite a group of horses across the front. It looks like the 11-horse it looks like the 6-horse is taking the lead up there. And then you have a bunch of horses to the outside. Let's see how this one's looking out here. Yeah, it looks like the 6-horse is 8-5 is going to be the one to beat, Terry. And then you got the 12 in second. Yeah, I mean, he's just way out in the lead here. I don't see anybody closing in on him. The 8 is coming right now, but he's way on the outside. And just the way these tracks have played the last couple of days, you get to the lead, you win. So this one looks like it's going to go 6. And then who's on the inside of that 8-horse? Look, the 4-horse maybe? The 4. Yes, so it's going to go 6. Easy winner. 6, 4, and then 9. 6, 4, and 9. So again, get the speed horses today, folks, because the ones that are getting to the front win. It was your second pick, my 4th pick. So far yet to collect a winner, Terry. And I had a feeling that this card was going to be a lot like this today. So I really tried to emphasize speed. At some point, some of these are going to come home. Unfortunately, we cannot show the races in here. I wish we could. You can go to Parx website. I do think that they have a live stream on Parx. So you might want to go check that out. All right, Terry, race number 10. We're going to get to your best bet now. You and Charles both like this 10-horse. Ain't that right, Charles? And I think, let me back up again for race number 9, because I know Charles had a double. Charles, I can't find it in the comments. Could you kindly put it back in the comments for me again? In the race number 8. Is that it right here? 8-10? Yes. So in race number 9, Charles likes the double 8 and 10. So that sounds like two best bets from Charles for me there, Hamdi. All right, race 10 is your best bet, Terry, with that 10 horse. Race 10 is another one of these stakes races. It's a Parx Futurity, 75,000 for the ladies this time around. Race number 9 was for the boys. Again, 7 furlongs does favor tactical speed. Inside 3, 4 through 7. Slight bias to track today once again. 2 horses getting to the front, 2 horses winning. All right, Terry, you like this 10 horse? It does look like maybe it can get to the lead. It looks like maybe 2-1 odds might be a little too low, though.
Yeah, it could be. The 4 and the 11 are both pretty early speed, but that 10's got some early speed.
Mm-hmm.
So if it can get out there, it could go all the way, I would think. The 4 is a nice overlay.
Yeah, it looks like it, right? Morning line, maybe 4-5 and 5-1. And that's based upon 1,000 simulations, horses using their speed figures. Again, these are lightly raced horses, so maybe those numbers are a little bit slanted because there's not as much data as we perfectly would like. Can't Complain is not in this race, Terry, which is the 8 horse. It is scratched. Can't Complain, so we won't complain about that one not being in. When I was running through the figures, a lot of these horses have some very similar early pace, but of those that do, the 2, the 4, the 10, and 11, those 4 should be the ones that compete for the lead. And what we've seen so far today, maybe the winner is going to come from one of those 4. If late pace does show up, maybe that belongs to the 3, has a strong late pace advantage, but I think that's more likely, based upon what we've seen so far, to be a factor for maybe the back end of the trifecta or superfecta. You and Charles both like this 10 horse as a best bet. Fill us in.
All right. Yeah, I do. I actually, of course, I like that 5 that was scratched in that second race, but I had a little bit of problem deciding whether to do the 5 or the 10 in this race, and I'm not disappointed as far as my best bet of the day. So the 10, Girl Trouble, she's going to give these other horses some girl trouble. She has won 2 races in a row, and she's going for a hat trick now. She has the best speed at today's of today's starters. And then number 2, she returns to Parx Racing, where she has done well in the past and likes the distance. Then I like number 1 as my third pick. She finished 3rd in her last race after coming very wide into the stretch. And the rail post is winning at an 18% clip. Number 4 is Alexis Storm is my long shot. She has a bullet workout on December 21st, and her early speed running style will really help her. I'm going to bet 25 to win on number 10.
I hope you're right, Terry, but I got this 6 horse in here. This is the other Kendrick Caramouche mount. So he came in for 2 horses today. I think if I can get him on the phone and ask him, or maybe we can have Julie call him. But if I guessed that this is the horse that Kendrick came in to ride today, Interpolate. And this is a Naira track dropper coming in from Saratoga and Aqueduct in its first 2 races. And it's a Chad Brown horse. I don't think Chad is sticking a horse in here that he didn't think had a chance to win. Teaming up with Kendrick, I think this one's going to be tough to beat. Girl Trouble has lots of early speed, first time Lasix. I love that combination. So a horse that's fast, you give it some Lasix. That's an additional octane boost. Number 4, Alexis Storm. Second time at ran second at $150,000 non-graded stakes race 2 races ago. That was at Aqueduct. Has a bullet workout getting ready for this, and then coming straight to the track off of that bullet. Ooh, I think this horse is going to be nasty too. And then number 2, Linda Loves Gold. Sounds like a good love affair to me. This one drops from a $200,000 non-graded stakes race. It was a really tough call for me over the 7 in this spot, Majestic Creed. I think the 6 and the 10 are the 2 to beat here. Oof, man. Thought about maybe throwing the 4 into my double too, but that would have busted my budget more than I wanted to today. So I'm going to go a double with the 6, 10, with the 4, 5, 7, 8, 11, and 12 in that next race, because that one, my friends, that was like this whole card has kind of been like, reminds me when Tom and I get together for Foreign Fridays, because so many horses, 18 horse field in race number 11. I mean, they scratched out 4 of them, but certainly in all of my simulations and stuff like that, Terry, are only made for 16 horses. So I had to do some manipulation Surprisingly, we got a lot of overlap considering how many horses are in this race, but you got a bunch of scratches. Portal 1, Sneakiness Tycoon, and Can't Stop This Man not racing. And it looks like it's going to be very competitive for who gets the lead.
Yeah, you're right. It really is, because there's lots of speed in here. 4, 5, 6, 11, 12, and 15 all show plenty of speed. The 7 and the 11 are both pretty nice overlays. And I think since there is a lot of speed in here, I kind of expect a closer that may win this race, because I think the speed just might run everybody into the ground.
Could be. I don't know. We haven't seen that. So in this particular spot, Nick in race number 10, we'll back up there, likes the 7, Majestic Creed. 15-1 morning line, says it's a bomb. In our 1,000 simulations, Nick looks like he's onto something there, because that horse's odds should be closer to 8-1, maybe 9-1. So if you do see 15-1 or that horse's odds creep up a little bit, I agree with you, Nick. Looks like a good value play right off the get-go. I wouldn't be surprised to see it perform well as well. All right, so race number 11, finally, our last race of this long card with hundreds, apparently, of horses in the race. Today was long day. The 3 is out, 13 is out, the 18 is out, the 17 is out. You got basically a lot of versatile horses in here in this group right here, this EP. All of these can be on the lead or pressure the lead of this group. The 4, the 8, and the 11, they got the most early speed of late. And then finally, the 7 horse over here, a pressure horse. This guy could get a fantastic trip sitting behind this wall of speed with the most late pace, Terry. I think that could give him a nice trip around this track. So maybe back-to-back 7s. Nick, what do you say, Terry?
Yeah, I'm agreeing with Nick. I like the 7 quite a bit.
That was in the last race. He liked the 7.
Oh, okay. He didn't like it in this 11th race, huh? We're in the 11th, aren't we?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I like the 7 in here. So float on. He has finished in the money in his last 7 races. He's won 2 of the starts and has a highest speed figure at today's distance. And I think he's going to set right behind the leaders and come at the end there. Number 12 is my second pick, Easy Day. He finished 3rd in his last race and switches to high percentage winning jockey. Then I like Get the W. He won his last race at today's distance here at Parx Racing and has a high percentage winning jockey and trainer. And then my long shot is number 8. It's Sizzling Time. He has the highest last speed rating, has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and the highest high percentage winning jockey. And I'm not going to do a bet on this race.
He ran out of his $100 budget, folks, is what he's trying to tell you. I like number 11, and race number 8. I like 11. Race number 11. I like the 8, Mental Transposition Error. It's Sizzling Time. Been off since November the 7th, so a little bit of a break there. Legs should be fresh, and that shows up in a strong workout on December 21st. I think this one's going to be close to the front with some of the best early pace, late pace combination in the field. And Get the W looks like it could be an overlay here, Terry. 6-1 morning line. Looks like the odds, according to 1,000 simulations, should put that horse at more like 5-2. Number 12 right behind it, similar story, 4-1 morning line. Looks like simulations say closer to 3-1. The Easy Day horse, something that this day will not prove to be, I don't suspect. At Parx, very strong efforts, 8 times out, won 4 of those and a third. So primarily an all or nothing horse. But right now, it appears this horse is in all form, really good form. Been close in 3 of his last 4 non-winning efforts. And then all of the other ones were pretty much wins. So number 11, Get the W. That's the idea for the day here. Is a half length away from winning the last 3 times that the horse competed at this level. The only time in the last 4 races where it didn't compete, it stepped up into, I think, a non-graded stakes race. And then finally, your first pick, my 4th pick, Float On. Should get a nice trip, as we mentioned, as the lone P horse does have that top late pace and has plenty of speed to hunt down in this race. I just haven't seen speed get hunt down in the last 2 days for the most part. I think 1 closer yesterday in the entire Parx card, Terry. Hello, horse, would your first choice to expect to win? Okay. So according to Terry and to Charles, that's in race number 10. They both like this 10 horse. And if you want a long shot, Nick in race number 10 likes the 7. So maybe a 7-10 exacta. And then here, Charles says he loves the 10 even more in race number 10 since I have my doubts. It's not that I have my doubts, Charles. It's just that I feel like Chad Brown's, the horses in his barn, are going to be better than any horse for the most part that are in the barns at Parx. I could be wrong, right? And then here, Scary Creation says, Acker is 1-for-1 in the slop, 100% Briz. Anybody like him at the price? And what race is this guy in? Can you let us know, Scary? Race, what's the name of that horse? Ackler. Is it in race 3 coming up? No, race 4. Do you see that name anywhere, Terry, so far? Race 5. Race 5. The 14 horse. Yeah, 1-for-1 in the slop. Looks like he doesn't really have a chance to, I mean, doesn't mean he doesn't have a chance, but being part of the early speed, which has been key the last couple of days. According to our styles and simulations, the horse has not performed to its 15-1 odds, but the slop can change anything. And I would tell you this from my experience, Scary Creations, you know, if there's some intuition telling you to back that 14, I wouldn't get off it, Terry. Would you? You're on.
And I mute myself. No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I put it in your picks if the horse has done fantastic in the slop. It just didn't make ours. And unfortunately, we don't have a monopoly on all of the picks. I wish we did, because then there would be no competition, right, Terry?
That's right. We do pretty well if we knew everything about everything. So.
Well, we know people who think they know everything about everything.
Yeah.
All right, so in race number, here are all of our picks. The first 2 races are done. And then all of our picks will be available at horseracingtoday.net, Terry. I will put our picks over there in the next 15, 20 minutes or so. They should be up there along with our suggested wagers. It looks like between Charles and Thierry, the 10 horse in race number 10 is the best bet of the day. I like the 6 in that spot. Speaking of best bets today, if you're going to bet college basketball, now that all the college football is over, except for the big one left next Monday, you can head over to the Picks with the Professor. There is a link down in the description below. He will help you through college basketball. So that's one of his expertise. And while you're at horse racing today, a little later on, there's also a link in the description down below. Help support the show so we can bring you more shows, more content. Get your HRT gear. This is a very comfortable sweatshirt. Looks good. I like it a lot. You can get that at the link below. You can help support the show, and we'd certainly appreciate any support that you can provide. All right. Yeah, Terry looking fantastic as he always does. Always better looking than Charles. Right now, the steam is flying. Who won race number 2? The 6 horse won number 2, 97. And then that wraps it up, Terry, for this sloppy Terry Tuesday. Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Yeah, everybody be careful this weather. I know here on the North Coast in California, we're going to get another basic storm like we had last week. So they say it's going to be 4 to 6 inches of rain again. It's going to start Wednesday morning, big winds. So I'm hoping I don't lose my power in that. But I want everybody to be careful and give your loved ones some good loving. And if you're betting on the races, let's see you win.
And yes, indeed. Prayers up for the young man, Damar Hamlin, who got injured last night in the Buffalo Bills-Cincinnati football game. You know, doing what you love, right? So hopefully the young man pulls through. We certainly are praying for him. Big fan of Damar. And I saw a lot of people donated to his toy drive. So good on everybody who is putting their money where their mouth is, so to speak. Bet the gray in the mud. Yes, Jay, that's always the way. Good to see you again, brother. How you feeling? Hopefully feeling good. We haven't seen you in a while. Hopefully that means you're cashing some big checks. We'd like to hear that kind of news. I'll be back with Charles tomorrow. We'll cover Gulfstream Park. That'll be again 11:30 p.m. Eastern. On Thursday, Charles and I will return. We'll do Aqueduct again, 11:30 p.m. Eastern. Friday, Tom and I will get together for a Maidan in Dubai. I know the folks in Turkey are looking forward to that, as am I. Terry and I haven't quite made up our mind as to what we're going to do on Saturday, but we'll look at the stake schedule. Keep an eye on our social sites. You see them down there, Horse Race the number 2 day. We want to get to 10,000 followers on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok in 2023. So help us get there. If you haven't subscribed to all of our social sites, please do so. We'd appreciate that. Thumbs up if you like what you saw. It's a lot to say there, Terry. In any case, tonight, make sure you tune in for Sean and Jamie, another great guest as always. And then thanks. We appreciate that, Nick. It does a lot of work for sure. The best. Thank you, Melvin. We appreciate that too. All the kind words are very much appreciated around here. All right,
Rich,
Terry.
Rich, did you show GTS?
Oh, thank you. Yes. If you're going to do some free picks today at Sunland Park, Terry, I know where I live in Chicago and where you live, where it's just raining now because it never rains in Southern California. But when it does, you better build an ark because it's going to flood. So if you see someone out there with animals going 2x2x2, and run for your lives at Sunland Park today, free pick at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. Again, there's a link down there in the description. Hopefully the weather there is sunny, nice, and the racing is good. So whether you're betting at Sunland Park or you're in the downpours of Southern California or the wonderful seas in Turkey at Istanbul, no matter where it is you are today, folks, we hope that your day ends up in one place, and that is
the winner's circle.
Yes, unless it's Charles Picks. Look forward to seeing you with Charles. Have a fantastic day, everybody.